Hi, my name is Shayla Grenage, and I conducted my research on early literacy with an emphasis on print. I'm currently a senior at Cal Baptist, and I decided to do my capstone project on early literacy because I've always, loved reading, and I remember from being a young child that I always did so well when it came to reading, and I felt like so much of that was having great early educators that helped me excel in reading. So what I did was I researched 6 different articles and I looked for correlations, like what was the same in all the articles that made a difference on early literacy. And the one thing that stood out in every single article was the importance of having print and having print in the environment. So what does print in the environment look like? So print in the environment can be many different things. So it can be something that what it is something that the child sees on a regular basis. For instance, the McDonald's arch, the big McDonald's, kids see that all the time. It's in their environment, along with supermarkets that they see on a regular basis. Vaughn's, Stater Brothers, Walmart is a huge one. Fast food chains, Jack in the Box, Wendy's, all of those are things that have environmental print that the children see on a regular basis. So environmental print it is literally all around them. But what does that mean for early literacy? Like how do we bring that into the classroom? Well, what the research found was that the more print and more environmental print, along with functional print and labels, really does help children with early literacy. So one article that I looked at was Brown, and Brown's article was on functional skills, building early literacy skills. And what he talked about was the importance of having print in 3 different areas, which is functional, print, environmental print, and labels. So labels would be, for instance, labeling everything the children see in the classroom, from a garbage can to cubbies to the door to the window to the faucet to their names. Labels could be, identifying each center as, dramatic play or housekeeping, block area, science area, literacy, computer area. So just the importance of labeling and the children seeing that print in the classroom. Other areas of print was the environment print, which we talked about earlier. Well, how do you bring that into the classroom? That can be brought into the classroom in many ways. An example is the block area. The block area, you can bring an environmental print by having blocks that are, made from home or brought from home. You finish that Cheerios box, tape it up, bring it in. The kids can build with that. Velveeta boxes. I've used any box in my pantry, and the kids are seeing that. They're associating it. They might eat Velveeta at home every night or have a bowl of Cheerios every day, and just having that there and having it present makes a difference. Other print is functional print that you can bring into the block area. So books with regular print, architecture books, books with designs, books with houses or buildings or structures, bridges, all of that can be brought into the block area, and the children can use their environmental print and their functional all in one area. So how does that look, in the housekeeping area? So housekeeping area, you can bring in functional print by bringing in, old books. Cooking books are the best. For also menus. I've taken menus from like Jack in the Box. They're more than happy to give them to me. I've laminated them, put them in the classroom, and added some environmental print. You can label everything in the house area. Old ketchup bottles, dump out the ketchup, and there they have it. Heinz 57 ketchup in the classroom. It's environmental print that they see at home, they see on a regular basis, and now you've brought it into the classroom and they're able to see it there as well. So that was Brown's main article, was about the importance of foundational skills and how early literacy really does help build upon every skill from math to science and so on, and bringing that print via labels, environmental print, and and functional print is very important. So functional print is just books. So it has a function, it has a purpose. So how do you teach children about functional print? Well, reading to them, but reading to them with a purpose. For instance, showing them the front of the book, talking about it. What part of the book is this? Is this the front of the book? Is this the back of the book? Asking children questions, getting them thinking, and teaching them about what the print is and what it means. Also, the functional print can also be seen, when maybe they're telling you a story and they've drawn a picture, and your job is, as showing them what functional print is, dictating what they wrote. And dictation is huge because it gives purpose to the children's art or their project, and you're putting their words to what they've done. You're connecting it to a functional purpose. So another article that I read was about animated book reading. And essentially what the animated book reading was about bringing literacy in, and can animated things such as iPods or, storytelling books and tablets, do they have a purpose in the classroom? Can they help literacy? And what the research found was that yes, they can, but they can with guidance from a teacher, talking about that functional print, pointing out the print, talking to the children about it. Don't just let it play and walk away. But when you're there and that media has a purpose, and you're walking through the children and you're talking to them, it can be a great experience for the children, and literacy can excel. Even if you're not present, but the children are like, they love a book and they're reading it over and over and they're going through it, they're getting that print awareness still. So contrary to what many say, research has proven that iPods and tablets and computers can help build on literacy if you're using the right programs and if a teacher is assisting. So Exel et al. Also did a research, and their research was on families and how families can impact early literacy skills. What they did was they went and they took 24 different families and they did a study to see if bringing in more literacy into the home will help impact early literacy skills. So the study was primarily done on English language learners and people of lower income. They took the families and the parents, and what they did was they provided literacy classes for the parents. Then in addition, for the children, they sent home activities such as books and whatnot that they could read with their parents. It was an early trial test, but what they did find was that literacy did grow. The skills were growing versus from the pre-test, from the post-test, and families were becoming more involved. And that involvement with the children and the literacy at home helped in the classroom. So the importance of that for early educators is to, help give those resources to the parents if they need them on early literacy, but also take home activities with children and parents on early literacy. Send home a read-along book. And that print and reading with the parent is going to spark an interest, and not only spark an interest, but it's going to give them an opportunity with print, with functional print outside of the classroom. So the next article was contrary to what, Brown and the other researchers were looking into. They were looking at really literacy and print. But the article by Moses et al. Looked at ASL and how ASL can affect children, and if at all ASL can help in early literacy skills. Their idea behind their research was that some children are dual coding, which means that they learn in more than one way. So what they did was that they thought, well, if children can learn in dual ways, maybe that literacy can be improved by teaching the children ASL. And what they did was they made these videos of somebody who was essentially teaching the children ASL on a video. And what they found was that although children did learn some visual skills from the ASL movies, Unfortunately, no print was in the videos, and print awareness and print concept and alphabet concepts were not improved by the ASL, but there were other things that were, such as the visual, which is still, great, but it didn't help in the print, and print really is essential in developing those early literacy skills. So, another research article that I read was by Descriptionhh et al., and it was about print and words. And what they did was they looked at children and children's books from Turkey and the U.S., and they had small reading groups. I believe it was 24 small reading groups. And what they found was that the books from the U.S. and Turkey were different. But the books that the U.S. were using had more, they were larger print. The print was more noticeable to the children. And as a result, that print really made a difference in the alphabet concepts and alphabet, identification, print awareness, as well as the functioning of the book. So all those things that were very important also mattered in what type of books we chose. So obviously that means we're not going to choose, a grown-up book for a child that has lots and lots of words and they're really close together. But rather for children, you want books where the print is noticeable and they're going to see that big print, and the print is going to stand out. One children's book that's coming to mind is Abby Yo-Yo. It's what I read in the classroom with the kids a lot, but the print for Abby Yo-Yo is so large and the kids can't help but to notice how large the print is, and they sing with it, and we talk about the letters and the sounds that make up, that Abby Yo-Yo. So in conclusion, what I found was that print is vital in the classroom. Print is all around us, but it's also very, very important that we have it, and print helps early literacy. And what we found is that early literacy skills help improve not only just literacy, but all other domains of learning, from social aspects to math to science. It is really vital. It's very important. And how does that look in the classroom? We bring in that print. We put it in the math center. We put it in the science center. We send it home with our families so that they can get that connection from the classroom print to in-home print to environmental print. We label their things so that they can see the print and see the function of the print. We dictate their words so that when they're writing or doing a story, we can write it and they understand that words have meaning, and meanings are associated with their thoughts and their feelings and their drawings and everything that they're doing. And then the print becomes around them. It becomes everywhere. What we've learned from the environmental print is that children learn environmental print before they ever learn how to functionally read. They read that environmental print because they see it all the time. They associate with it. And that environmental print is a big, big number one thing to get those children starting to read, is seeing that print, associating it with their life, with their environment. So again, in conclusion, the print is essential, even if the teacher is not right there going over the print with the children every second or going over their name. We've learned that the print makes a difference, and that literacy rates do exceed and they excel when there is more print in the environment. So in addition to my video, I have a PowerPoint included as my visual aid. And in the PowerPoint, I have included the some examples of what print looks like, as well as some speaker notes onto what type of print it is. So please, after my video, take a look at my PowerPoint, see what the print looks like, what environmental, functional print, and labeling looks like in the classroom. And I know for me personally, I'm going to go on and use what I've learned from this research in the classroom by adding more print into my centers, labeling. One thing I noticed that I've kind of been failing at as a teacher is the dictation of the children's work and what they're saying, and taking that time to, oh, what is this? Do you mind if I dictate it for you? So that's one thing that I've really taken from this research is how important the print is and how much I need as an educator to make sure that I'm adding it there so that I'm giving those children that print-rich environment that they need. So again, thank you. Please view my PowerPoint and have a great day. Bye.